Have you ever noticed how airports feel like they are designed to make you lose your mind? I mean, one minute I am walking on hard tile, the next I am on this thick, plush carpet, and suddenly I am buying a $20 ham sandwich I did not even want. Is it just me, or is there something else going on here?
It is definitely not just you. In fact, that carpet you just mentioned, that is not for your comfort. It is a psychological trigger called cognitive friction. Pilots and terminal architects call it the dwell time trap. By switching the floor texture from hard tile to soft carpet, they subconsciously slow your walking pace, lowering your cortisol just enough to make you feel relaxed. And a relaxed passenger spends exactly 10% more money at the duty-free shops. You are not traveling through a terminal. You are walking through a giant, high-tech vending machine designed by behavioral scientists.
Wait, 10%? Just because of a carpet? That feels manipulative. And what about those constant gate changes? I swear, every time I sit down at gate B12, they move my flight to the complete opposite side of the airport. Is that just bad luck?
It is highly calculated. Think about it. When they force a last-minute gate change, they are moving a herd of hundreds of captive people past every single luxury store, bar, and restaurant in the building. It is a forced parade of impulse buys. They want you tired, they want you thirsty, and they want you desperate for a seat.
Okay, so the carpet slows me down, and the gate changes make me walk past the shops. But what about when I finally get to my gate? I usually just grab the first empty seat I see and wait. Is that a trap too?
It is the biggest trap of all. Look at those rows of seats. They are designed to be just uncomfortable enough that you do not want to stay there for more than 20 minutes. But here is the real whistleblower secret. Never sit at the gate.
Never sit at the gate? But where else am I supposed to go? I do not want to miss my flight.
That is exactly what they want you to think. They want you captured in that tiny, crowded area. When you sit at the gate, you are surrounded by stressed out people, loud announcements, and overpriced vending machines. It triggers a severe scarcity mindset. You start to worry about overhead bin space. You get anxious about boarding groups, and you are statistically much more likely to pull out your phone and pay for a last-minute priority upgrade just to escape the chaos. Walk 2 gates over to an empty area. You can still hear the announcements, but your cortisol levels stay low. The moment you sit down in that crowded gate area, you have already lost the psychological war.
This is insane. I thought I was just a traveler, but I am being played like a character in a video game. And speaking of being thirsty from all that walking, have you ever looked closely at those free water fountains near the restrooms? I use them to save money.
Internal maintenance logs from major hubs show those fountains are some of the most neglected equipment in the entire building. We are talking bacteria and mold levels that would make a public gym shower look clean. Why? Because if the fountain looks slightly dirty or the water tastes like warm metal, you will give up, head straight to the nearest kiosk, and pay $6 for a plastic bottle of premium spring water. Make the free option miserable so the paid option looks like a lifesaver.
Okay, I am never drinking from those again. But what about security? The TSA lines are stressful enough, but now they have those biometric face scanners at the gate. I thought I had to look into the lens or I would not get on the plane.
That is exactly the illusion they want to create. But here is the truth they hide in the fine print. In the United States, you have a legal right to opt out of biometric face scans. You can simply tell the gate agent you prefer a manual document check. Why should you? Because once your face is in their database, it is there forever. They are not just verifying your identity, they are building a profile to track your dwell time in every shop you pass. You are giving away your most personal data for free just to save 3 seconds boarding a plane.
I had no idea I could just say no. But what about the tickets themselves? I swear, every time I refresh my browser to check a flight, the price jumps by $50. Is the computer watching me too?
It is called dynamic pricing, and it is ruthless. Think of it like a digital auction where you are the only one bidding against a ghost. Their algorithms look at your IP address, your search history, and even the device you are using. If you are searching from a high-end MacBook in a wealthy zip code, the perfection engine assumes you have a higher budget and shows you a premium price. They even use phantom seats, those red warnings that say, "Only 2 seats left at this price," to trigger your panic response. Always use a VPN, clear your cookies, and never book on the same device you used for your initial research.
It feels like I am fighting a supercomputer just to visit my family. But the real nightmare for me is the luggage. I always feel like a criminal when the gate agent points at my carry-on bag and makes me put it in that metal sizer.
Here is the insider truth about those sizers. At many budget airlines, those gate agents are actually paid a commission, sometimes $5 to $10 per bag, for every single passenger they catch with oversized luggage. They are financially incentivized to be strict. But here's the trick. Never use a hard shell carry-on. Use a dark, soft-sided duffel bag. Dark colors look smaller to the human eye, and because it is flexible, it can be squished into the sizer if they actually force you to use it. And whatever you do, never, ever put a fragile sticker on your checked suitcase.
Wait, why not? Wouldn't a fragile sticker make the baggage handlers treat it with more care?
It is the exact opposite. Imagine you are a ground handler working in 100-degree heat, throwing 800 heavy bags an hour. That fragile sticker is just an extra instruction that slows down your workflow. Some handlers, not all, but some, actually see it as a challenge or an annoyance. It is like putting a "kick me" sign on your luggage. If you want your bag safe, buy a high-quality hard-shell case and skip the stickers entirely.
This is so much to remember. It is like the airport is a giant maze filled with traps. Can you explain why they make it so incredibly complicated and stressful? Especially when flights get delayed.
Think of the modern airport terminal exactly like a high-stakes casino in Las Vegas. In a casino, there are no windows and no clocks on the walls. Why? Because they want you to completely lose track of time and reality, so you just keep gambling. The airport operates on the exact same psychological principle, but instead of slot machines, they use something industry insiders call the salami tactic. Imagine you are waiting for a bus in the pouring rain. If the bus driver comes out and tells you the bus is going to be 2 full hours late, what do? You leave. You call a taxi, or you go sit in a warm cafe. You take control of the situation. But if that same driver tells you every 15 minutes that the bus is just around the corner or experiencing a minor delay, you will stay standing in the freezing rain for those entire 2 hours. Why? Because you have already invested so much time waiting, and you keep thinking the payoff is just minutes away. Airlines do this exact same thing with flight delays. They will announce a 30-minute delay, then another 30 minutes, then another. They slice the bad news into tiny, digestible pieces, like slices of salami, so you do not demand a refund and you do not leave the gate area. They keep you captured in their controlled ecosystem, so you get bored and spend money on that $6 water or a $20 sandwich. By the time you finally realize the flight is completely canceled, you are too exhausted and broken down to fight for your legal rights.
That is exactly what happened to me last Christmas. I waited for 6 hours, and eventually, they just gave me a $15 meal voucher on my phone. I thought they were being nice.
That voucher is the ultimate trap. In the fine print of many digital meal vouchers, there is a hidden clause stating that by accepting the free meal, you are legally waiving your right to further federal compensation. In the United States, if you are involuntarily bumped from an overbooked flight, you could be entitled to up to $1,550 in cash. Not a voucher, not a flight credit that expires in 6 months. Cold, hard cash. But the gate agent will never volunteer that information. You have to demand a check.
Okay, I am taking serious notes here. No fragile stickers, opt out of face scans, never sit at the gate, and always ask for cash instead of vouchers. Is there anything else I need to know before I finally get on the plane?
Just one last thing. When you finally board that plane, remember, it is a flying petri dish. Because airlines pack their schedules so tightly, the cleaning crews only have minutes to turn the plane around. Those tray tables and armrests are rarely disinfected between flights. Bring your own antibacterial wipes. Wipe down everything you touch. Stay hydrated with your own water. And remember that you are the customer, not the product. Stay smart, stay skeptical, and do not let the perfection engine win. We will see you at the next gate.